Hey, Daily Dosers, Chris back with you. Happy Wednesday. I know I'm doing two back-to-back. Yep, same shirt as yesterday. Why? Because it is now Monday evening. I'm doing one for Tuesday and one for Wednesday. You don't think we get up at 3 a.m. and shoot these the day of, do you? Why? Steven back there. He does all this, shoots them the day before, edits them. Too lazy to get up at 2 a.m. to do it for you. It's the day before. In this case, 2 days before. Hey, question for you. What do you do with the really bad parts of the Bible? No, not the parts you dislike. I know we really have to pay attention to those parts. No, the really bad parts. No, not the gruesome parts of the war. The stuff that's just incredibly boring and it has zero for you and I today. Now, before this is sacrilegious or heresy and you turn me off, there are parts where you have pages that just numbers the tribes of Israel or pages of just the history of people who begat. What do you do with those? I know, we skip them. And yet in a study I was doing, about 20 years ago now for a class, it was probably longer than that. It was a lot longer than that ago. I come across, am I really that old? I am. We just celebrated our 25th. I'm 50 years old now. Man, I'm ancient. Okay, so about 100 years ago, I'm in a theology class and we have to read through books and highlight, underline stuff, not circle. Came up with that on my own. And I get to one of the really boring parts of the Bible. And I found a little something there. It just says, we're going to name and number all the warriors that show up to help David once he took over the throne of Israel, King David. And you know how it goes. It reads like this. Men of Judah carrying shield and spear, 6,800. Men of Simeon, warriors ready for battle, 7,100. Men of Levi, 4,600, including Jehoiada, leader of the family of Aaron, with 3,700. Men of Benjamin, Saul's kinsmen, 3,000, most of whom remain loyal to Saul. Men of Ephraim, brave warriors, 20,800. Men of Manasseh, and it just goes on, and you're like, skip it, let's get back to the story. I'm glad they were numbering people. I'm glad that it gives some historicity to it. But in the midst of all this naming and numbering, and I can't even tell you who they are and why, but what came out that day was one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Numbering from this tribe, this many warriors, from this tribe, this many warriors, from this tribe, this many warriors. It says this in 1 Chronicles 12:32. Men of Issachar, who understood the times and knew what Israel should do, 200 chiefs with all their relatives under their command. And then it continues. Men of Naphtali, 1,000 officials, together with 37,000 men. Men of Dan, ready for battle, 28,000. Men of Asher, 40,000. And in the midst of that, men of Issachar, who understood the times and knew what Israel should do. 200 chiefs with all of their families under their command. I love that verse. I just want to go back and sit with the people of Issachar and go, how'd you do it? What's that even mean? You understood the times and you knew what the people of God should do in response to the time you were living in. Oh man, how many of our families right now would love just to be under a banner that says, oh, they understand the season we're in America, and they know exactly what godly people should do. Isn't that what we're searching for? We're searching for some understanding in the midst of what we're going through as a society, and hopefully at the same time really searching for what's it mean to be Christians right now? What is our response? What is our take on this stuff? You know what I love about this verse with our series right now? No one seemed to be alone. Their leaders were all together, and their families were all lined up under them. They were doing this together. And my bet is that's why they understood the times and they knew what their response should be, because you're not going to get that when you're by yourself. I know we're going to have a dip this life group season for people going, oh, I don't want to be involved in it, or we don't want to travel, we want to be together right now. And look, if you don't want to be with a small group right now for some personal reasons, health reasons, we applaud you for that. I highly respect you for that. But for others of us, we just don't want to be meeting in groups. And let me tell you, we are in desperate need, North Coast. We are in desperate need, North Coast, of Christians who understand the season we're in and, more importantly, know what the people of God should be doing. Oh, we all have our thoughts and opinions of both, but to truly know and understand both of those. And you know how we get there? By not doing this alone. Because our leadership has been so strong as a church right now, because we've been doing this in groups and doing this together. I don't know if there's ever been a staff meeting that I've walked into knowing what to do, and I walked out with the same thing in my mind. It's always changed. You know why? Because I'm sitting around amazing women of God and men of God who always inform that decision and make it so much better. We are in a season right now where you cannot afford to be walking through this season and a godly response by yourself, because we're all listening and intaking way too much garbage responses. Get in a life group. Do this together. Make sure you're grounded. I promise you, they're going to make you better and you're going to make them better. Thanks for watching.